and welcome to Blue Girls Video Podcast. I have dreams for January 2013 and February 2013. So the first one is I moved the toilet bike. My cousin was really positive and she told me that she helped me. And I said, you didn't help me. The idea didn't go through. There was a room and I moved the toilet and then a girl was going to sleep in my bed and I said, that is my bed. And I moved the bike a little bit to the side of the wall and told someone it was his bike. The room was small and it was filled with electronic devices and a huge backpack. Every item in his room was a dark color. So yeah, in this dream I think that there was something about my ID and my cousin. Well, it was probably my cousin's name. And then, so I don't know why, but I was at this guy's house and he wasn't there. I think he was at work, and he just had a room. I just remember he had a room. I was in his room. And how can you move a toilet? You can't move a toilet. So I don't know what that was about. But I did move the bike closer to the wall or whatever. And then like he had all this. I just remember he had a shitload of devices, electronical stuff. So he must have been kind of a nerd. And then like all the items, a lot of items in his room were like dark colors, so I didn't see anything white. I just, darker colors. And then, okay, so the next one is old friend 5-3. I had a dream about a former friend, starting with the letter J. She was in her place, and I asked her if she thought of me last Christmas, and she said actually she didn't. She mentioned how I got 5 Big Macs, then I was at a house and my youngest brother was there, and some guy was supposed to give him money. I used his phone and was talking to someone. I guess Winona was about 3 miles or so. I was going to call Janine and see her before I left. Didn't have her phone number, wanted to visit. So usually when I video, I usually don't. I accidentally said my friend's name. But for the most part, I always usually just say, like if it's a name, then I just say whatever, my brother or younger brother or something. But anyway, so anyway, I remember my friend, the first one, a former friend, and she was in her apartment. I remember her being in her living room in the dream. And so I said, well, did you think of me around Christmas time? And she's like, no, I didn't. So, but anyway, so then she's like, well, I heard you got 5 Big Macs. So, I don't know what that was about. So it could just be the fifth day, the 5th month, and Big Macs. Well, those aren't my favorite at McDonald's. I love McDonald's, but anyway. So I'm not for sure what that was about. And my youngest brother was supposed to get some money. So I think that in this, I was leaving and I wanted to visit my high school friend. And so that's what I was going to do. I wanted to visit her before I left. The next dream is a rainbow connection. What if we are wrong, but she's sick? I saw a rainbow bracelet. I saw mountains, and the mountain had pastel-like colors, desert. So all I remember about this dream is that I heard, what if we are wrong? And then it says, but she is sick. So the next one is Florida house lemonade with sand and cigs. I was somewhere and I told someone, so I have to put yes for having been arrested. I told someone about Florida, how I liked it there. I didn't have any problems, liked my place, neighbors. One kid said he wouldn't or didn't like it there. And I said, you didn't like Florida? Some woman went with my youngest brother to weekly renting. I didn't want to go with him. Some woman was intimidating and was in a gang, and I asked how it worked if you had 10 people in the house. She really didn't say anything back, and I got in her face, stood up to her. I was going to send someone a card and put it in the envelope. There were 2 large square containers I drank out of, both. One was like lemonade, but later revealed had sand and cigarette butts. I was at my brother's house, and this guy and I were supposed to go somewhere. The last bus was at 6:30. We would have to walk for an hour. The pastor was there. Okay, so yeah, so I have never been arrested before, knock on wood. But in this dream, I don't know why that I was arrested. I don't know. I think that, okay, so with the lemonade and then with sands and cigarettes, I think something was underneath something. These two containers, something was revealed, I think. But I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was about. And I don't know why it would be lemonade. And I don't know why there would be, sand and cigarettes. I don't smoke, so it doesn't really make any sense. And I was like, oh, so this one guy, I think it was a kid, and I said, oh, I liked Florida. I told him about Florida. I didn't have any problems there when I lived there. Well, and that's true. I lived there for 6 months a long time ago, kind of like a snowbird. And I didn't really have too many problems there. I had a good manager. I liked it there. And so this one kid was like, I didn't like Florida. And it's like, you don't like Florida? I was like surprised. Like, what do you mean? It's Florida. I'm thinking the sun, it's nice and warm. Anyway, and then so my youngest brother, he went to weekly renting. So I don't know where he was at in the dream. And whatever, I didn't want to go with them. And so there was this one, I remember at the time that there was this one place and there was like 10 people living there. And I think the person who facilitated it was like, I think people that lived there were like in gangs or something. And so I was saying, I'm not in a gang. I mean, I grew up, I don't have any idea what that kind of lifestyle or anything like that. I grew up in the Midwest. So I think the people who were living there were kind of whatever, in gangs or had issues or whatever. So when I did it in the dream, I stood up to her, but I didn't get it. I meant, I wouldn't get in someone's face, but I think that was probably, some people there that would probably do that, who lived there. So here's the large containers again, and I drank out of both. Then one was later, and then lemonade, and then it revealed it was sand and cigarette butts at the bottom, underneath. So that was about it. And then, so February 5th, 2013, I could feel myself being dragged in dream. Then I heard she did it again. Okay, so this is part of the rainbow connection. I do not know what I did again. But anyway, so in this dream, I could feel myself being dragged, and like like I was on the ground, and somebody had hold of my hands. So either I was unconscious or dead. So the next one is finding love at last. Some girl was lying on the bed with the light on. Her girlfriend with black hair was sitting up and next to her. The woman lying down took off her underwear. So all I remember about this is that there was two women. One of the woman was tall, and then the other woman I think was Asian, and I think that it was like a new lesbian relationship for them. So I think one of them or both were like, finding love at last. So the next one is a stroll with Big Sis. I was with my big sister, and she said something about how I am not standing up for myself like I used to, and that she lived and she liked spending time with me. We were walking. Okay, so I had a big sister from Big Sister Big Brothers Association. So when I was younger, I had 4 brothers. So, I was more of a two-fisted broad. And I would stand up for myself. And now I'm more passive. A lot more passive. So right here she's saying, well, you're not standing up for yourself. And then she just said, whatever, I like spending time with you. So the last one is tattoos. There was a young man in his 20s who was wearing a tank top, and he had several tattoos on his chest, one being of a naked woman. So I mentioned this in another video because I've read this on YouTube and Anchor and all my other podcasts or whatever. So there was a guy, and he was a young guy, and he had these tattoos, like all these tattoos on his chest. And I remember there was a woman on then, a naked woman. And I remember thinking in the dream that I wouldn't really want something like that on my body, but it's his body. He can do whatever he wants. But I think that, he might get a lot of shit for that. Like if he's, going swimming or something, guys might like, oh yeah, I like your tattoo. Women might not like it. I don't know. But I think it, would cause some problems or issues or whatever. But it's his body. He can get whatever he wants on his body. So any tattoo. So anyway, that's it. And it's a little short today. And thank you for listening.